Let's start with a review of least common denominator. What is the least common denominator of 1/4 and 3/4? It's 4. What about 1/2 and 3/4? This is also 4, because 4 is the smallest number that is divisible by both 2 and 4. What about 3/4 and 7/12? Least common denominator is 12, as it's the smallest number that is divisible by both 4 and 12. What about 1/5 and 2/3? Least common denominator is 15. And the least common denominator of 1/2, 1/3, and 1/9 is 18. So what happens if we multiply each of the fractions above by their common denominator? We multiply 1/4 by 4, which is really 4/1. The 4's cancel, and we're left with 1. We multiply 3/4 by 4, the 4's cancel, and we're left with 3. Here, if we multiply 1/2 times 4, we get 4/2, which reduces to 2. And if we multiply 3/4 by 4, we get 12/4, which reduces to 3. Pause the video and you try C, D, and E. As you can see, multiplying by the least common denominator eliminates the fraction. Solving multi-step equations with fractions in them can be time-consuming. We can eliminate fractions by multiplying both sides of the equation by the common denominator. So, for example, if we have 1/2 x equals 6, you can get rid of the fraction by multiplying both sides by 2. So here, 2 times 1/2 equals 1, which leaves us with x, and 6 times 2 is 12. So x equals 12. Here, we have 1/2 x equals 3/4. We found that the common denominator of 1/2 and 3/4 is 4. So if we multiply both sides by 4, on this side, 1/2 times 4 is 2. And here, the 4's cancel, and we're left with 3. And then dividing both sides by 2 leaves us with x equals 3/2. Here we need to find the least common denominator of 1/3 and 1/6. So if we multiply both sides for the whole equation by 6, 6 times 1/3 becomes 6/3. And 1/6 times 6 becomes 6/6. And 5 times 6 is 30. Then our fractions reduce. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 6 is 1. And then we solve like normal. Subtracting 1 from both sides. And then dividing both sides by 2. We get x equals 29/2. Here, the fraction is outside the parentheses, and there's just the 1. So if we multiply by the denominator, it eliminates the fraction. But remember, whatever we do to one part of the equation, we have to do to all parts. So we multiply the whole equation by 3. And here, the 3's cancel, leaving us with 2 times the quantity x plus 1 plus 2 times 3 is 6 equals negative 10 times 3 is negative 30. Distributing the 2 gives us 2x plus 2 plus 6 equals negative 30. Combine like terms to get 2x plus 8 equals negative 30. Then subtract 8 from both sides. And we get 2x equals negative 38. And dividing both sides by 2, we find that x equals negative 19.